Los primeros evangélicos eran americanos que volaban nuestra selva para conquistar, para salvar el alma, conquistar el alma, y también esa llegada también conquistaron nuestro territorio.
And we lived this way until the 1960s with the arrival of American evangelical missionaries who came in their airplanes. They came to conquer us. They came to conquer our people, our land, and our souls.
Mi abuelo, mi papá llegó en civilización con los evangélicos. Un poco tiempo ahí contactaron primera enfermedad de polio y murieron muchos, mi familia, mis abuelos, mis parientes y los hermanos de mis padres.
My grandfather and my father lived in a time before the missionaries, and they tell stories about the arrival, about how the missionaries brought sickness, they brought polio, they brought diseases that killed hundreds and hundreds of people, sometimes hundreds a day.
Y mi papá y mi mamá tuvieron hija a mí, y yo crecí en medio de esa conquista. Para mí era normal.
I was born in the middle of this conquest. For me, this was normal.
Hasta incluso yo me fui a los 15 años sacado de los misioneros para aprender Biblia, para aprender español y venir a ser misionera a mi propia gente.
At age 15, I was taken by the missionaries out of my territory and I was put into school. I was taught Spanish and I was taught the Bible, and they made me become a missionary too, to convert my own people.
Mientras yo iba en mi comunidad evangelizando, hablando de Dios, cómo salvar el alma, y nuestra cultura, nuestro canto, nuestra creencia era diablo, decían los evangélicos.
I was taught by the missionaries to teach my people that our way of life was backwards. It was of the devil. And this is what I did. I went from community to community spreading this message.
Pero en el sueño yo seguía soñando a mis ancestros que decían, Nemo, estás equivocado de lo que tú estás llevando, palabra de Dios, conquistando el alma. La creencia de nosotros, la vivencia de nosotros, la selva es lo que nos está salvando, que nos está dando vida.
But in my dreams, my ancestors would come to me and they would tell me, what you're doing is wrong. You're spreading something that's not ours. You're going against our culture and our way of life that's connected to the forest that we live in.
Y un día yo tenía que decidir y viajar donde otros pueblos en el Ecuador norte, donde fueron primer contacto con los petroleros.
One day I had the opportunity to travel to another part of the Ecuadorian Amazon where I met other indigenous nations who had lived for many years with the impacts from oil contamination.
Y yo vi con mis propios ojos, el petróleo trae solo la enfermedad y la muerte y contaminación de medio ambiente.
I saw with my own eyes that oil brings death, it brings sickness, and it contaminates the environment.
Y hubo un derrame cada mes y no podía remediar el impacto medioambiental, y yo saqué a mi gente de lo que viven donde yo nací, en Comunidad Guaraní de Pastaza, donde es selva virgen y 180,000 hectáreas.
And I began to recognize this contradiction between so-called development, between this world that the missionaries were talking about. And I saw how people in the north lived with oil spills, sometimes every month, that impacted their food, their access to clean water, their health. And I decided to bring my own people so that they could see this with their own eyes, because where I'm from, we have a 200,000 hectare territory that's free from oil extraction.
Y vimos a los hermanos indígenas que viven norte, Cofán, Sionas, sus testimonios dieron que las mujeres estaban enfermas de cáncer en el piel, que no podían tener hijos, que los niños formaban desformación. Ahí nuestro propio gente vieron y reconocieron eso, nos dio coraje, rabia.
And there my people heard the stories from our brothers and sisters of the Cofán, the Siona, and the Siecopay people about the impacts of oil and how it made their lives worse, how it disconnected them from their environment. My people saw this and we became really upset.
Y mi gente decía, ¿qué vamos a esperar? Que el gobierno o el sistema capitalismo dice, si permite sacar petróleo es un desarrollo de educación, salud. Pero en realidad nosotros como pueblos indígenas sentimos afectados. Si vamos a permitir, nos van a dejar así destruido la selva, contaminado, nuestra cultura, nuestra identidad, van a perder.
The government would tell us as indigenous people, oil will bring progress, it will bring health centers, it will bring education. But what we saw was something else. We saw how it would bring sickness, death. It would take us away from our roots and our way of life.
Y vimos que no había solución. Mucho, desde 50 años hasta en parte de los laguarios estaba, no había solución. No había solución en salud y alimentación. Y nos preocupó mucho si nosotros estamos sin accionar, sin unir, sin juntar, ¿qué vamos a dar solución para nuestros hijos?
And we also saw how the government didn't offer any solutions. There was no solutions to the contamination. The only solution that we saw is if we took matters into our own hands, if we began to organize, if we came together.
Ahí empecé yo como mujer joven a organizarse, unir con minoría afectada y con mi pueblo que no está afectado.
So as a young woman, as an indigenous leader, as a woman, I decided to help organize these different groups of people to come together so we could be stronger to confront these threats.
Y ahí formamos una organización, Alianza Seibo y Amazon Frontline. Eso significa una organización de los pueblos indígenas y que no son indígenas.
And we decided to form our own organization, which we called Seibo Alliance. And alongside us, we helped form an organization called Amazon Frontlines. So we're two groups, an organization that's all indigenous and an organization made of people from around the world.
Esa organización no es como fines de lucro, como organización que conserva el territorio. Esta organización es basada visión de nuestra realidad en nuestra comunidad.
We're not like a lot of NGOs because our work and our mission and our vision is based in the indigenous communities. It's based off of our own vision for our well-being.
Para que deben respetar el toma de decisiones en nuestro territorio, debe ser nuestra decisión, no el gobierno, no misionero, no gente de otro lugar que vienen a imponer en nuestro territorio.
And we've come together to say that what happens in our lands and to our lives is our decision as indigenous peoples. It's not the government's decision. It's not the company's decision. It's not the decision of other NGOs or organizations.
Ahí justo mi esposo es de aquí, de San Francisco, y con él fundamos, y él es de aquí, y es una herramienta que he aprendido mucho de aquí, y también él aprendió una lucha de nosotros, y eso era una organización, nuevo modelo que hemos enfrentado el último 10 años fuertemente contra el gobierno del Estado ecuatoriano.
My husband is from the United States, not me, by the way. My husband is from the United States. He's from this culture, and from him I've learned many things, but I've also taught him so much. And this is what our movement is about. It's about coming together, it's about learning together. It's about standing strong against these great threats, because what we're up against is huge. We're up against governments.
Y empezamos a decir que el gobierno Estado ecuatoriano o gentes que invierten ven solo recursos, petróleo, oro, madera, agricultura grande.
Because the governments and companies, when they look at our lands, all they see is a territory that's open for extraction. They see resources. They don't see people. They don't see a land that's full of life.
Pero para nosotros, pueblos indígenas, es lleno de vida, lleno de farmacia, donde nosotros podemos curar, donde nosotros podemos alimentar a nuestros hijos, donde nosotros podemos respirar el aire, donde nosotros podemos tomar el agua limpia.
But for us indigenous peoples, it's the opposite. It is a land full of life. It's our pharmacy. It's our source of food. It's where we breathe clean air.
Entonces empezamos a trabajar mapa, diseñando, dibujando la importancia, porque sabíamos nosotros que el gobierno algún momento va a querer explotar, va a querer a negociar donde nosotros estamos viviendo.
So we began to build our own maps that showed our territory from our own perspective, because we knew that one day the government would come to our land and try to open up our territory for extraction.
Y justo cuando estuvimos muy organizados, muy unidos con el pueblo, el gobierno Estado ecuatoriano en el año 2018 ya pronunció, hay bloque 22 que están oferta, pronunciando al mundo para vender.
Through this mapping process, our people came together. We became together and we were stronger with a shared understanding of the importance of our territory. And it was at this time that the government did come in and told the world that our territory was up for auction. They called our land Oil Block 22.
Y justo nosotros ya teníamos herramienta listo y dijimos, vamos a luchar, vamos a demandar porque el gobierno no está respetando nuestra casa.
We were united, and we had a tool at our disposal. We came together and we said, we are going to fight. We're going to fight back. Our land is not for sale.
Y juntamos con abogados y lo era más importante que escribimos asamblea era nuestra propia autonomía, nuestra propia gobernanza, nuestra propia visión. Salimos a la ciudad.
We joined together and we worked with a team of lawyers. But what underlying everything, the most important thing was that this was our decision. This was our vision. This was us coming together as indigenous peoples to fight back, and so we took to the streets.
Y yo veía a otros pueblos grandes, hombres decían, Nemo, tú no puedes lograr, ustedes guaraníes son muy pequeños y el gobierno es más fuerte. Y nosotros dijimos, no vamos a rendir, vamos a ir la verdad con nuestra sabiduría que el gobierno debe respetar. Y fuimos firmes y demandamos como primera vez en la historia falló a favor de nuestra selva.
Other people told me, Nemonte, you'll never beat the government. You're a small nation, and you're up against huge resources. And I told them, it doesn't matter. We're not going to give up because this fight is about our land. And the government must respect our decision over our lands. So we came together, we brought the government to court. We sued the Ecuadorian government, and we won.
Nosotros como mujer estuvimos unidos con las mayores, con los niños, estuvimos firmes, dijimos, esto es lo que estamos siguiendo es para la vida de nosotros, para la vida de todos humanos que estamos respirando en el aire. Y eso fue una unión como nunca la unión se puede lograr.
We came together, women, elders, youth, because our fight, it's not just about our territory, it's about all life.
Y todo lo que estamos haciendo, nuestra lucha en la Amazonía, no es para los pueblos indígenas.
And that's the point. Our struggle as indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest, it's not just about indigenous people.
Nosotros como pueblos indígenas en todo el mundo estamos primera fila. Es una clave de solución y detener cambio climático.
Across the world, indigenous peoples are on the front lines. We are the first line of defense against climate change.
Y de lo que quiero hacer acordar es que primera vez estoy viajando en el evento, también fue unos meses que viajé en Nueva York, Londres, sobre cambio climático. Ahora en esa sociedad y están como hablando sobre el cambio climático que está aumentando, pero nosotros como pueblos indígenas muchos años atrás sabíamos eso. El lugar en la selva es sagrado para nosotros porque está dando vida al mundo.
I've been traveling a lot lately. I've been going to New York, to Europe. I'm here now in San Francisco. And in my travels, I'm hearing a lot of conversations about climate change. And something I'd like to say is that we as indigenous peoples, we knew about climate change a long time ago. We knew that you have to defend and protect the land that you live in because it's sacred.
Y yo quiero ahorita dar un minuto que silencien y tomen el aire y respiren profundo.
I would like to ask you to just take one moment, close your eyes, and breathe in this air.
El aire, sin el aire no podemos vivir. El aire da vida a todos seres humanos que estamos viviendo aquí.
Without air, we can't live.
Sin
air
agua,
is life.
Sin agua tampoco no podemos vivir.
Without water, we also can't live.
Y también la diversidad.
And without biodiversity, what does this world really contain?
De lo que es pueblos indígenas estamos primera línea luchando es para nuestros hijos y por vuestros hijos.
So we as indigenous peoples, this is what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our children and we're fighting for your children.
Y por eso mi mensaje es muy importante de aprovechar de estar aquí con ustedes.
So I have one important message I'd like to share with all of you here tonight.
Ahora como pueblos indígenas en general no podemos estar defendiendo solos, sin solamente los indígenas, sin ustedes. Ahora necesitamos gente como ustedes que están aquí, también hagan parte de nosotros para luchar juntos.
Indigenous peoples, we can't do this fight on our own. We shouldn't have to do this on our own. So I'm asking you to please join with us.
Y también decirle también el apoyo del Fondo Verde o fines de lucro solo llega a la ciudad. Todo lo que donan para las comunidades en base llega muy poco en las comunidades.
Too often, global philanthropy, commitments from governments, funds that are set aside for indigenous peoples don't reach the communities. They don't get further than the cities.
Y por eso me gustaría dar un mensaje claro que ustedes creo que son filántropos, no entiendo esa palabra, es nuevo para mí. Y me gustaría decir que confíen a los pueblos indígenas, que escuchen a los pueblos indígenas, porque nosotros de miles de años estamos de pie luchando y deteniendo cambio climático. Ahora, como nunca, les pido que todos seres humanos juntamos para cambiar para el futuro generación. No esperen solo pueblos indígenas. El capitalismo y el poder no lo van a cambiar. Siempre van a querer a destruir la selva. Entonces la sociedad como ustedes sí lo podemos lograr, como yo logré contra el gobierno estado ecuatoriano.
So I'm here to tell all of you at this Forum for Global Philanthropy. For me, philanthropy is a new word. It's not one I'm very familiar with. But my message for you is trust indigenous peoples. Listen to indigenous peoples. We've been doing this. We've been fighting this fight for thousands of years. And so I ask you to join together with us. Don't expect indigenous peoples to do this fight on our own. We're up against the mightiest threats you can imagine. We're up against an entire global capitalist system that seeks to destroy this planet. We need support. We need you to join with us.
Y muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm the only thing that stands between you, cocktail and dinner. Okay, it's been an amazing 2 days. And I'm very pleased to say, because I think it's exceeded my expectations, that this is the formal close to GPF 2020 and its program. Thank you. Now, let me just say that I've got to say thank you to people. Okay, I really have to do that. I have to thank all our speakers and panelists. Your insight and eloquence left me speechless on many occasions. Attendees, thank you for getting out of your comfort zone. I hope all of you went to the portal. I'm not going to ask how many actually did go. Okay, thank you for connecting, which you've done in an amazing amount, for learning, I'm sure, and for acting. I just want to also acknowledge the staff here. You guys have been just awesome. And I have to give a special shout out and kudos to Megan Kennedy and Claire McMahon, who you all know and have just... I would love to take credit for this program, but I can't. Okay, what I basically said is that I said to them and to the staff, "What do you want to do this year? You know, what moves you, right? This is who we're speaking to. You're the next generation. You're the ones who are coming up. What is it that you want to do?" And this is what they came up with, and they did just a tremendous job. Thank you very much to both of you. So, final thoughts, and I'm going to be mercifully short. One, first of all, I forgot to say, we want your ideas. We have some ideas about what we're going to do next year. It's going to be similar lines. It'll be, hopefully will be different in its own way too, okay? But we want your thoughts, so please let us know. So, two final thoughts in closing. Like Catherine said just maybe an hour ago, I too am very tired, okay? I'm not tired necessarily because of the conference. I didn't do much of the work. They did a lot of the work, the staff did. I'm tired from the last 3 years, like all of us are, right? And I think about all the things that we've had to go through and endure, some of it alone, some of it together, and some with our friends and family. But there are two things that I keep in mind, something new that I got yesterday and something that has been with me for pretty much all of my life. The first thing is what, again, Angela Glover Blackwell said, hope is a discipline. I mean, that just struck me just amazing, right? But there's also some old folk adages from where I grew up in Ohio and southeastern Ohio that also stays with me. And that was, if it was easy, it would either be done already or someone else would be doing it, okay? Please remember that too, right? You're here because it is really, really hard work. And only you can do that, okay? And that's what I keep on telling the staff. That's what I keep on thinking to myself when I get really, really tired. So let me just say, keeping those two things in mind, and very quickly, we are at a tipping point. We know that. Whether it's the climate, democracy, all the things that are going on with the first panel that we talked about. We are at a tipping point. But I also think that what I've learned in the last 3 years is that people are yearning to do something. They want to do something. And so we are in a position, I think, to help other people and ourselves show people what they can do and give them the tools to make a difference and an impact. So with that, see you next year. And I hope that we have a lot to talk about, a lot of successes and failures, because we're going to learn from our failures as well. So everyone, where's the cocktails? Cocktails in the courtyard. We have food. I thank you so much for being with us.